Hey everyone, today is Wednesday, July 8th, 2020, 9:02 p.m. So the market has closed. Let's take a look at the market today. Today the market basically did, if we look at the S&P 500 E-mini right now, the market did pretty much nothing, right? So this morning we went higher, we opened higher this morning and we came down lower throughout the day. Then we bounced back at the end of the day after 2 o'clock. We bounced back, and it seems the market right now is just hovering at kind of the middle of nowhere, and just in this range right now. So I still think the market is going to roll over from this point, and we might have to retest this level, or even this particular level. Depends on how far the market comes down. So I don't think the market is going to make a new high, because the reason is I outlined in my previous video. So just go to watch my previous video, and you can see that today some of the leading stocks in this market are actually rolling over. So that is a very bearish sign. So the reason I think the market is going to roll over, because the general market is not following the leading stocks. The leading stocks, namely, they are, the Teslas, the Amazon, the e-commerce companies, right? Like the PDD, this Chinese company, the NIO, the Chinese electric vehicle, right? All these stocks have gone so much in the last, especially after the end of June. They have just go vertical. The price has gone vertical, and you can see that today the divergence is kind of converging. Okay, so NIO has been going up crazy, even though today, during the day the market was kind of weak. The general market was down, was in the red, was going lower, but the NIO was just keep ripping, right? At 9 o'clock in the morning, it was up by another like 15%, but then throughout the day it got sold off, right? So this is it's sold out by, oh man, more than 20%. So if you bought at the high this morning, you would have lost 20% plus some point during the day. And you can see that Tesla, same story. We had a dip. Tesla has been going horizontal since 2 days ago, but today it had this dip, and that is a 7% move down, right? And after hour right now is actually moving down again. Maybe tomorrow it opens, it's gonna open lower, I'm not sure. But you can see that all these leading stocks are getting weaker. You can see the weakness in these stocks. And that is not a good sign for the market. As I said, I'm expecting the market to roll over. Another thing about the VIX is holding up pretty well. And whenever the VIX is holding up pretty well, we know that the option buyers are buying. There are some people in the option market, they're buying the options for protection, they're buying for hedging, and that's the reason that the VIX is going higher and higher, despite the market actually going flat or stays at a high level. So that is another sign that some of the market participants potentially, they're smart money. They are betting on the market is going to correct in the near term, and sometimes this kind of a positive correlation to the market, the VIX, it doesn't mean anything. Sometimes these guys they're wrong. The market just continue ripping. That has happened before. That is a possibility. But sometimes they're right, and we might see a run up to even higher level in the VIX. So this is UVX, so I should just look at the VIX. The VIX is actually, you can see it's going higher and higher. Despite the market, it's just going flat, okay? And a lot of stocks are going, despite the market volatility is going down, but the VIX itself is actually going up. The realized volatility, versus implied volatility. Remember, the VIX is an implied volatility. It's not realized volatility. Whenever this divergence between the realized volatility, which is current volatility, versus implied volatility, and the implied volatility is going up despite the realized volatility, the current volatility is flat, that means the option buyers are buying more options to hedge. That's why they're driving up the option value, the IV portion, the implied volatility portion of the option. Okay, and that is another reason that you should be cautious in the market, because some of the smart money they're actually buying hedge. They're actually hedging right now. Okay. Let's take a look at the cryptocurrency market. The cryptocurrency market right now is, let me just get rid of this crap. You can see that this trend line got broken. A lot of people got excited this morning. I have a stock tweets app, right? I got actually notified this morning when this trend line got broken. Although the Bitcoin is only up by like a few percentage points, but I'm seeing a lot of tweets in the public on Twitter or on stock tweets. They're talking about that this trend line is getting broken, that this could be a huge rally coming in. I'm suspecting that this might not be the case. You got to be cautious about this kind of assumption. The reason is the trend lines could be defined, like that, right? So you could move trend line a little bit higher. It looks like trend line as well. It looks like that is hitting the trend line, but is being rejected if I drew like this, if I didn't draw from this point. The trend line is really a guide, is hindsight is 2020. You're gonna see trend lines everywhere, but when the trend is happening, it's very difficult to draw the line unless you can actually see far into the future. For example, I've talked about this in my previous video. The trend line is a very bad way of estimating where the market's gonna go. For example, I drew a trend line here. It looks like a perfect trend line up until this point, right? And you probably think, oh, the trend line is broken, maybe I should short here. No, actually, right now, you see it goes even higher. So, but in hindsight, you can see that the actual trend line is something like this, right? And even this trend line, it works until it got broken. So the trend line never works. You don't, like, drawing trend line is really stupid. Like, it doesn't work, okay? And it only works if it only works in hindsight, because you don't know the future pivots, right? Like this trend line, I won't be able to draw this particular one right here. Like I just can't, because I just don't know the pivots. I can't see the future value. So if you can actually predict the future pivots, then you don't even need a trend line. You can just buy and sell because you can actually predict where the price is exactly going to be, right? So this doesn't make any sense to draw these lines. And when you're drawing some lines based on the existing pivots like this, like for example, if I'm here, I'm probably drawing like this, right? And now I see this thing got broken, but come on. The future trend line could be something like this. Like it could go up here and come down, then you have another trend line. So drawing trend line is totally meaningless in trading, in my opinion. Just trade is totally useless. Okay, as long as the Bitcoin is staying in this range, I'm neither bullish or bearish. I think that it doesn't matter where it's gonna go. It has to break out of this range, and I think the best way for the Bitcoin right now to break out this range, since it has consolidated for so long, I personally think it should just broke down, fill this gap. Again, I've been talking about this for the last couple of videos, and come back up again. Right? That's where I think a lot of buyers gonna be, and if the price come down here, they're gonna get a new batch of new buyers, and people's the big money, they're gonna come in, buy more, and the price is gonna go up. Okay, so I think right now I wouldn't add too much to my Bitcoin position. I'm just holding to whatever I have. I think that's just really for the long term. Right now, the market is just testing your patience, and I don't think the cryptocurrency market is gonna go up anytime soon in the next month or two, until we see some move like this. And Ethereum, same story. We have Ethereum actually outperforms Bitcoin in the last couple of days. The reason is it went up from this level, trying to retest this particular resistance level. It's been holding on as a resistance, kind of obvious for a while, and now it got rejected again. Today it went all the way up to 248, pretty close, but now it's down to 244.9 as of the recording, and you can see that. Yeah, it's kind of rejected unless we really break off this from this point. Like unless we really break out, I wouldn't count on this as a buy point. Like I see a lot of people, they are in Ethereum, they are kind of eager to buy here. It's attracting some of the buyers, expecting this thing to break out because it's like it's been attempting this for several times. But I would hold off on the purchase. I would just say that if this thing goes up, come back down, retest this level, that's where I'm going to enter, right? And you don't need to rush on this. You don't need to rush on these kind of stuff. So a bearish, I'm bullish on Ethereum, obviously, in the long run. I think is great. But another a bearish scenario, again, I talked about before. We have multiple drives to this level. It seems this level is really strong, acting as a resistance. It's probably not going to be if this breakout fails again. I think we have the first attempt, second major attempt, third major attempts. Usually when you have 1, 2, 3 major attempts, you're gonna see a major fall off, probably to this particular level. Then that's where we're gonna find potential buyers coming in. So if you're holding Ethereum, you don't want to go long right now because a potential drop from this level is a 30% drop. So, but if you're going in for long term, a 30% drop is really nothing if your cost level is low, right? So, yeah, so this could be a potential bearish scenario, okay? Okay, so I think that's everything. That's all I want to talk about today. And so keep in mind, so in summary, the market is I believe is kind of you got to be cautious, is in danger of rolling over, as I've been saying for the last 2-3 days. Second thing is cryptocurrency, stock market, everything right now are correlated. That's been true since March. They're all correlated. Because of that, if the stock market roll over, or everything else is going to roll over, the cryptocurrency is going to roll over as well. So that's something that keep in mind. All these markets are correlated. The reason is the interest rate right now is 0, right? We have a lot of quantitative easing. We have Federal Reserve pumping in money into the economy. So all the liquidities are interconnected, and all the markets are interconnected more than ever. They're more correlated more than ever because they're all being supported by the Fed. They are all being reactive to the Fed. So all these markets are correlated. And so the money flow, the liquidity in all these speculative assets are correlated. And so when one thing has some sort of weakness that we're seeing in stocks like Tesla, NIO, all these leading stocks, like I remember today, Overstock has gone up a lot too, right? As the Overstock actually corrected during the day as well. And I remember there's another company, I actually have this company, went up by more than 40% at one point today. I own a little bit of this company because it was making this kind of range. I just bought a little bit, and today went up 40%. I actually sold it here. I sold already around 274. Not the top, not the best selling point, but it's good enough. 40% day for this company. This is a Chinese e-commerce company, a cheap e-commerce company. They used to be a popular company when they were issuing consumer loans through their app, right? They were popular B2C lending company, like small loans, like consumer products loans. For example, like financing your TV, financing your cell phones for 12 months, all that stuff. They used to be very popular, but the thing is, they were integrated into the Alibaba, the Alibaba ecosystem. But then what happened was 2 years ago they got kicked out from the ecosystem. So what happened is it's very difficult for them to get users, right? Because people buy stuff from Alibaba, they get financing from this company. And now Alibaba, they have their own financing arm. They don't need this company anymore. So this company is trying to branch off, try to diversify into other into other markets, and so far it hasn't been successful. Okay, it IPO'd at 35. Ignore this. This was some other company because they use the same ticker. So this is from a previous company with a previous ticker of QD. So they IPO'd at 35, and now they are like still $2, 262. So even after a 36% day, I mean they're pretty far from the all-time high, which is on the IPO day, which is really a scam in my opinion. And this company actually tried to got into a bunch of businesses, try to revive itself. The founder is actually a very hard-working person. I think the founder is not a scam artist. The founder, he's a serial entrepreneur. He really wants to make this company great. I know he's trying a lot of different models, but nothing has worked for him so far, unfortunately, because everything he tried, there are just huge amount of competition in the market, making the business unprofitable, essentially. So the previous business, like after the B2C lending business kind of gone bust, that's what this fall here, and then they had they tried to start a kind of a car leasing service, and the car leasing service was growing pretty quickly, but it went bust again because of the competition. Now they are in the luxury e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce business. So they have a website that's an e-commerce app. It's like eBay, it's like Amazon, but they specialize in luxurious products. For example, like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, but they have these products imported from other nations, so they're a cross-border kind of a duty-free shop online, but they're not duty-free. The duty is included, so they're cross-border online shop, and the benefit is because they have buyers, they have supplied directly from outside of China, so their price is slightly lower than if you're getting these items from official stores inside of China, and because so that's their competitive advantage. To be honest, I don't think that's a very real competitive advantage because anybody can do this. And but again, this guy is trying this again, try to revive this company. Another company in this sector is also listed on Nasdaq is SECO. QD actually investing in SECO recently. That's why you have this pop of 100% day in SECO, because QD invested I think $300 million into SECO, so they become it's kind of like these two companies that cross holding each other's shares, so they basically have a kind of little monopoly over there for the luxury online products, online e-commerce apps, right? So these are only two in China, but I think that business model is, the margins are very thin still, because you have to compete with official stores, and their only competitive advantages are there online, right? Because in a lot of major cities, you can get Louis Vuitton, you can get Gucci, you can get all these brands very easily in China, in all the major cities. But these companies, they have advantage in in a smaller cities like tier 3 cities, tier 4 cities, where they don't have these kind of official stores, right? They have to, if they want to buy authentic luxury products, and they probably have to travel to a bigger city, or they have to buy from from these individual buyers, which are not usually trustworthy. But if they buy from these kind of reputable companies and just shipped over, that is advantage. That is a competitive advantage for these two companies. But the thing is, the demand for luxury products in tier 3 and tier 4 cities are just not that high, just because their income level, right? So you're trying to sell extremely expensive stuff, like rich people stuff, to the middle class or lower middle class in China. That's a hard sell, because the demand just not there. So I think these two companies, their business model has a lot of challenge. But I bought the QD recently because it's making a nice basing pattern. I thought this could be a nice pop and dump and pop and dump trade, and it turns out it could be one, and I sold it, right? I sold for a nice, I think almost 50% gain in a couple of days. But I've been holding this for at least a month now. Okay, so that's all I want to talk about, and thanks for watching, and see you next time.